So I work at a convenience store, and this convenience store is owned by Indians. And if you've ever worked for Indians, worked under an Indian, or worked with an Indian, you know that it fucking sucks at least 80% of the time because of the way they are and how it is in their home countries. Because of the working conditions over there, whenever they come over here, they pretty much want to drive you like you're in their country and not in the United States of America where I'm at. So what they'll do is you don't get any breaks. They try to underpay you as much as possible. They'll try to get you to do work off of the clock. They will try to underpay their management for their stores despite everywhere else around them paying a higher wage. And they'll gaslight you about it and they'll say, oh, well, we don't have any money. But that's bullshit because they're penny pinching motherfuckers and they're almost as bad as Jews. So, like, let me just break it down here. The owner drives a Lexus. His son drives a really nice Audi. And for whatever reason, despite owning two houses and building another one, they're always like, oh, well, we don't have any money, so we can't afford to give you a pay raise. Or we don't have any money, so we can't afford to pay you for breaks, and that's why you don't get any breaks. Yeah, well, that's bullshit because I've run the numbers on the store. I went into the back system. I know how much money that they make yearly now, and their whole we don't make any money spiel is bullshit. Okay? And that's just the way they are. They're all, oh, woe is me. I'm a little Indian guy and I don't make much money, so I want you to work for me out of pity instead of out of want. So they call this work meeting, and this work meeting is called because our cook, our main cook, makes 50 cents over minimum wage, and the new cooks who are starting are making the same wage as her. So she's getting upset that she has worked there the longest and is doing the most work when it comes to putting our food out, that she's not getting paid what she thinks that she's worth, and I agree with her wholeheartedly. Okay? But so the owner's son, who actually handles everything employee side because the owner doesn't actually want to have to deal with it and be the bad guy sometimes, calls a meeting. And we're going to go to this really fancy restaurant because they're friends with the owners of the restaurant and they're there all the time. But if you're broke all the time, how are you affording to eat out at this really fucking fancy restaurant that costs like $600 for us all to go and eat out at? And there was only 6 or 7 of us, maybe, probably, excluding the owner's son. So we get to this meeting, we're all sitting down, and he says, oh, well, this meeting's not to chew anybody's ass. I just want us to have fun together as a group. Well, awesome. I mean, that's actually kind of great. Well, 30 seconds later, he starts chewing everybody's ass. Of course, we knew it was coming. We knew it was coming. We're not dumb. And if you've ever seen the work expectations of Indians anyway, you know that they want to pay you the least amount for the most amount that they can get out of you. And the most amount they want out of you is $5 above minimum wage, but they want to pay you $2 below it. But I think the highlight of this whole meeting was he was just like, well, I'm going to implement a new rule in the handbook that you're not allowed to talk about your wages with your coworkers. Bull fucking shit. That shit's illegal. Go fuck yourself. Everybody called him out on it. He's like, oh, well, I'd have to go and look at the laws. I mean, this motherfucker had the audacity to basically look us all in the face and say, well, I don't think you're necessarily right about that, so I'm not going to trust you, and I'm just going to go and look for myself. Yeah, because people who are employed their entire lives aren't going to know that they can or can't talk about their wages with their coworkers. Yeah, go fuck yourself. And so at this job, we don't get any breaks. So whenever we come in, we get with our coworkers, we say, we're going to go to break at this time. I'm going to go to break at this time. And that's just the way we do it because we have people there that smoke. And if you smoke, you're allowed to actually go and take a break. But if you don't smoke, you're not allowed to. You're just not allowed to have a break at all. You're on your feet. I work 10-hour shifts. So 10-hour shifts with no break are brutal, even if it's just a convenience store job. Okay, I'm sorry, that's just the cold hard truth, and I don't think that I should be doing a 10-hour shift with no fucking break. That's ass, that's bullshit, and then they wonder why nobody wants to fucking work with them. So he starts to go on this rant. He goes, I don't want to pay for breaks. He goes, if you go on your break, I don't think I should have to pay for that, so I don't want you to have a break because I think it's kind of a money pit, essentially, that I have to pay for you to take a break. Okay, great. And then he had the audacity to further that and say, oh, well, your breaks are selfish and you should be giving 100% of your time and effort to this company because we pay you minimum wage, even though we could pay you more. We just don't want to, and we'd rather role play that we're poor little Indian guys who don't have any money whenever they make millions a year. And honestly, I hate to say it. Actually, I love to say it. I'm going to keep taking my quote unquote selfish little breaks, as he called them, because I don't give a shit. You don't pay me enough to give that much of a shit. And honestly, I don't think there's any company or any amount of money that could pay me enough to not take a break for a 10-hour shift. And I know I'm not alone in that. And let me break it down further. We have so many broken things in the store that they just don't want to fix because they say they can't afford it. Mind you, again, they make millions of dollars a year off of this store. Where does the money go? Well, not back into the business, not to fix anything. Our coolers, like there are people who have to come in and re-up the cooler like every 3 weeks with coolant, or else they start to go into the red. That includes our freezers and everything else. And then the camera that's supposed to catch all the license plates for the gas pumps outside, it doesn't work. So we have to manually either take pictures of the license plate with our phone, or we have to write the license plate down. And if they drive off, they expect us to pay for that. So if there's a $70 drive off at the gas pump, they think that it's our responsibility to pay for that, even though they don't want to put the effort into fixing the camera that's supposed to catch that shit for us. And so part of this meeting was he's just like, well, I just feel like you guys don't want to work. Mind you, this guy's supposed to be coming in to have weekly meetings with our manager that he hasn't done in 2 years. So how is your quote unquote leadership going to sit there and lecture you about, I don't feel like you want to work whenever you just don't even come in for your meetings every week anymore. It's been 2 years since you've done it. We're lucky if you come in once every 6 months to talk about the business and everything like that. Honestly, this whole meeting was just to say, well, we don't make enough money, and even if we did make enough money, well, we don't feel like that you do enough to give you a pay raise that everybody wants. But also, only management and the owners are allowed to know how much the store makes. So I had this whole thing prepared. I was going to be like, I know how much you make. I broke it down, and compared to the national average, you make a lot more money than the national average convenience store because we're a high traffic location, and you're telling me that you can't afford anything? Well, I think honestly what it is that whenever their profit that goes into their pocket starts running like even just a smidgen or a fraction lower than what they're expecting, all of a sudden the company is not doing very good. The company's going under. They can't afford to pay anything. Actually, they told us at one point when they were making $5 million a year that the gambling machines that they had just put in there were what was paying for everybody's paychecks. So that was a lie, obviously. And they will still sit there and look at you with a straight fucking face and tell you that they're broke when they drive Lexuses and Audis and they're making millions of dollars a year and everything else, and they have all these good deals and good contracts with all of these different vendors, and they should be really, really well off. Well, they make a fraction less than what they want to make, and then all of a sudden, of course, oh, the company's going broke. We can't even really afford to pay you. And it just continues in this endless cycle. So if you want to know what working for or with or under Indians is like, it's exactly like this. They play the woe is me card. They act really, really, really nice to you so that you really don't expect them to be that kind of this underhanded. And they will gaslight you into thinking that you don't do enough, even though your store has gotten 3 awards, several customer compliments about cleanliness and the way that they're treated there by the staff. And they will still continue to sit there and say, well, we look at cameras, you don't do enough. At this time, you could have been doing this, but you were doing this. And it just goes in a circle, it goes in a loop. They don't actually care about you, they only care about their profit margins. And at the end of the day, that's pretty much every company. So I can't really just pin it on Indians, but they will micromanage the shit out of you, make you feel like you don't do anything, and then expect way more of you than what they pay for you. Anyway, I'm going to go and take a quote unquote selfish break now away from this computer. And my next video will probably be more like my usual stuff because this is just, I just need an event. Okay. If you ever have the opportunity to decline working for an Indian, now I'm not saying all of them are this bad, but every single one I've worked with, which has been multiple at this point, are this bad. But I'm getting the hell off of here because I'm just going to work myself up and get angry about it all over again. But you like content like this, subscribe. Head over to my other videos because most of them are a lot different than this one. And I'll see you in the next one.